We're back.
Hi. What's happening?
I think we skipped a week there.
Yes, we did.
Sorry about that.
Oh, man. I'm getting Dice Tower withdrawals, man.
All right. My name is Tom Vassell.
I'm Zeke Garcia. What's happening?
And I'm Sam Healy.
And today we're going to be doing a list, top 10 better games. And what we mean by this is that there are games that many people know and enjoy. They're the mass market games. Games that everyone's played. Take, for example, Candyland or Mousetrap. These are games that lots of people like. So we've taken 10 of the most popular games that people know, and we are going to give you, each one of us is going to pick an alternate game for that. Now, if you like these games, we're not trying to mock your liking of them. Well,
he's not.
I'm not.
I'm not.
But what we want to do is we're going to say, if you enjoy them, here's another game you might enjoy. Yep. Now, unlike other lists, I'm going to say ignore what they say probably, because I don't even know what it is. I'm already doubting it.
This is the list right here. That's all you need to know.
Well, how did you do yours?
I'll just show it to the camera now.
What I did with mine was, for each game, I picked another game that I thought, if you like this is another game in the same spirit.
Okay.
You did something more complicated.
Spirit of the rules. I actually went and looked up the mechanics of the game in question and tried to find games that matched those same mechanics and then still had kind of the same feel to it, but it was not anywhere close to being a flawless procedure.
Right.
Because very often you'd plug in those mechanics and that game would come up, and the many different versions of that game would come up, and very few other games would come up. So you'd have to kind of, okay, well, I'm going to take this mechanic out, and I'll just go with these, and then see what comes up. Oh, well, if that didn't work, I'll take this mechanic out, and so it
sounds really boring.
Not really the best.
I, on the other hand, used my knowledge.
Whatever.
I think I'm somewhere between both of you. I tried to stick to something the game offers mechanically, but also, why do people like playing that game? What emotions it invokes in people, you know?
Maybe
is it confrontational, is it not, that kind of thing, and then go based on that, you know. So I'm kind of in between.
I think the reason why most people like playing these games is because they haven't experienced better games.
That's true. I know that's probably true that they still play them anyway.
Well, let's show you what we're talking about. Here we go.
All right.
Number 10.
The first game that we are replacing, saying there's a better game, is that of Sorry, which is the first game on the list with an exclamation point at the end. Sorry! Which was a game that was basically a takeoff of a Parcheesi, but you move around the board with cards, and you can land on these slides that knock other people off, or land on other people, then you would say, in the most sneering tone possible, Sorry!
Pulling someone's ponytail.
Did you ever hit somebody when they said sorry?
He wanted to.
Plead the fifth.
Wanted to.
Who's sorry now?
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, what games can replace Sorry?
All right, this is one of the ones that I really had a difficult time with. Sorry. I just, first of all, I had so many bad experiences with this game. I just don't want to think about playing it anymore. And so I have trouble liking games that are similar to Sorry. So this is where I went really bare minimums, and I kind of went with the racing aspect that Sorry has and the hand management aspect that Sorry has with the cards that you play, and I went with Around the World in 80 Days.
Okay.
That's what I went with this one. It's a stretch. It's a complete stretch. But I think if you like the aspect of having to manage your hand and you're wanting to get from point A to point B first, I think Around the World in 80 Days has a lot of thematic flavor to it that will hopefully pull you out of your mass market doldrums.
That's a good choice. I really like that. And you go around the whole map.
Yeah,
you know, that's
right.
I was getting ready to mock your choice, but
yeah, I like that.
All
That's good.
Mine's a little bit even more off the reservation because this was a hard one for me too. So I thought, what is Sorry is people love the aspect of landing on other people and doing things to other
Take
people.
that.
So ha ha ha,
Take
take
that,
that.
yeah.
So to me, we're going to switch gears, themes, and everything with King of Tokyo, which allows you to wail on other people and take that. If you've not heard of King of Tokyo before, it's a game in which you control a giant monster, Godzilla, King Kong, whatever. They name them different names. And you just fight each other. You roll dice, but you get to attack each other and do fun things and do different combos and get points. It's really nothing like Sorry, but it gives you the same, if you like the ha 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 moments of Sorry, or the, I don't know, how did you do that Sorry again? That was pretty annoying.
Sorry.
Like 12 syllables in that word.
Yeah.
man.
So if you like doing that, then I would recommend King of Tokyo.
And you were gonna mock mine?
Yeah, that's the stretch. I
It
can't
was a
wait.
stretch.
I can't wait for the rest of this.
I know. Really.
No, this was by far the stretchiest one I did because it was. Well, what's yours? Come on.
All right, my number 10 for Sorry is a game which, again, I focused on the take that and I focused on the race aspect, and that is Magical Athlete. Magical Athlete is about smacking people around and being opportunistic about, jumping ahead, and it's sorry-ish. It's very sorry-ish in that you have to like mess with other people and use your little. It's like Sorry with characters. You know what I mean? It has the idea of kind of piggybacking on other people and jumping on them and pushing them back and all those.
Yeah.
So if you like that aspect of Sorry, I could see you enjoying Magical Athlete.
Okay, I love Magical Athlete, and I bring it out at conventions. I'm just not sure everybody would like it. I think it's kind of meets a very niche thing, and the game looks horrible.
Yeah, but it's a good game.
You don't like it?
I didn't like the game at all. But it's like it does have a lot of the same feelings.
That's
Sorry
true.
does. So
That's
I'll
true.
give you that. But I just didn't like either of the games.
I like it.
so.
I like it. It's light and it's silly and it's very random, but I could see somebody liking Sorry going for that game.
All right, 3 better games than Sorry.
Number 9.
Our next game is one I played more times than I could ever count, and that's Uno. The game where you try to get rid of cards from your hand. I believe Uno was based on basically a card game. I think it was Crazy Eights or something like that, where you just people played it with a regular deck of cards, but just getting rid of the cards in your hand. Very simple game. 0 strategy in it that I know of.
Yeah.
Maybe when you pick the color when you do a draw 4. I mean, other than that, you're really just kind of playing what you have. So my switch for this one was Coloretto. Coloretto is a card game in which you are placing a card in the middle or you're taking them. It's not really similar to Uno in any other way than it's a card game with colors. But in this one, you still have the opportunity to mess someone else over when you draw a colored card and add it to a group of cards in the middle, or you can grab a whole group and take those, but you want some colors and not all of them.
Why? I don't mean to interrupt, but why would you not just go the full gamut and go straight to Zularetto?
Well, and that is the thing.
Better than Coloretto.
Zularetto is a better game than Coloretto because it's a cool board game about a zoo.
Right.
But I picked
Trying to stay
Coloretto
with the
because
card
I was
game.
trying to stay with a card game, and sometimes you just want to throw out a card game. Coloretto is really easy to throw out there and play.
Go big or go home.
Fair enough. But anyway, my replacement for Uno, Coloretto.
Okay, that's interesting. My replacement.
That means bad. I heard
Wrong, but interesting.
that. I heard that from teachers before. Well, that's interesting, Vassal.
I'm happy you're happy. I think my choice has more of a take that aspect to it, while adding, and the Uno does not have this, adding a slight maybe help your neighbor every now and then aspect to it. The game I'm talking about is Smiley Face. And Smiley Face plays a crowd, plays up to like 8, which is good. A lot of Uno players I know like to play in a big group. Has a lot of take that kind of cards. Same idea almost. The draw 4, the skip you, all that stuff. But adds some some tableau management, has the same hand management idea, and adds an interesting sort of majority game on top of it. And the one cool choice, the one really neat idea in it is that if you feel you're not winning the majority at the table, you can pass and help someone else, give them a card, help them, and if they win, you get a little something too. And no one else can help them. So it's the timing's very, very interesting. Again, it's a light card game, plays in like half an hour, but I think someone who likes Uno would enjoy Smiley Face.
I think I should break in here to say that I tried to make it so that all my games are games that you can go out and buy now.
Isn't Smiley Face available?
In the discount bins, probably.
Go pick it up.
Go ahead.
This is another one. The first three I really had difficulty with, but Uno I thought could be replaced with Six Nimitz or Category 5. They're basically the same game with two different themes on it.
No, that's actually a really good choice.
I went with the hand management aspect of it and the lowest point total wins.
Right.
With those two aspects, and I really enjoy Six Nimitz. I've never played Category 5.
It's the same exact
It's the same game,
It's
just
the exact same game,
different theme placed onto it. So I thought it would be a good mix because it has basically the two what I would imagine are the two core elements. I mean, I guess there's a take that aspect of Uno that's not really there in
Right,
Six Nimitz,
right.
but I don't necessarily enjoy take that mechanics in a lot of games.
I feel like you hate them.
So, okay, that's fine. We can go there. But so I'm okay with leaving that aspect out of it. So I think Six Nimitz Category 5 would be a good replacement for Uno.
All right. Goodbye, Uno. What's next? Next on our hit list is Cranium. Cranium's a very popular party game that came out 2 decades ago or so, in which players did all sorts of things in Cranium. I believe that you molded it with clay, you drew pictures. It was kind of a mashup of party games and was incredibly popular. Seen it many different places. Is this a great party game? The best party game?
I had a hard time with this one because Cranium is precisely, it's almost like what we're looking for, because that was almost the point. It replaced Pictionary.
It took like
and
6 different games.
charades and trivia, you know, and sort of...
So you're saying it still belongs in a collection?
I don't really like it very much because it still suffers from that you either know it or you don't problem that a lot of trivia games and just sort of like get your partner to guess.
So what's your replacement then?
My replacement for this one's probably my biggest stretch, but I was going for the feeling of getting people to guess the thing.
Okay.
Which I think is like the excitement. Like I said, builds as it builds. So my choice for this is a brand new game, basically Concept, which just got nominated for the Game of the Year award. I think Concept it's sort of like the bare bones smaller brother of Cranium, and it gives you that same feeling of it's on the tip of my tongue. I'm about to guess it. I keep throwing words out, but I'm not getting it, and finally somebody says, and you're like, yes, that's it. You got it. Yo, ooh, ah. It's that. Not the ooh ah maybe, but
Your games are more exciting than ours.
ooh ah. So Cranium, my replacement for that. If you want something simpler, more streamlined Concept, check it out.
Okay, it's actually not bad. I didn't even think of that. I probably
Well, quick, change it. I'll give you a pen.
No. I wouldn't change it because I wasn't really enamored with that game.
All right. So what did you pick
I think
then?
it was either hit or miss. Mine, I just went with the complete getting people to draw and guess what it is, and I just went with Telestrations. I thought
Okay.
I thought that Telestrations could replace Cranium because Telestrations is less about the trivial aspect of that Cranium was about, I guess. Mm-hmm. And I think that levels the playing field because you can have those trivia people that just know everything. They're kind of freakishly. They just know stuff. It's kind of weird.
You can say it.
I mean, it's weird how people can have all that knowledge. I mean, like baseball
Ken
stats.
Jennings.
Like baseball stats. I mean, people will know a dude's ERA from like 200 years ago. Well, not 200, but you understand. It's just weird. You guys freak me out sometimes. Anyway, Telestrations would replace Cranium.
Okay.
Sounds right.
I feel like I'm picking the worst choices on each of these now because that was a good choice. Mine is much farther than both yours. I just went with a party game, and that's Dixit. Trying to get people to guess stuff using your imagination with word pictures, trying to get people to guess cards. I can feel your disappointment in me.
Yeah.
Stop it!
I'm just not getting any of the same vibes. You don't. It's like such a calm game. Dixit's like such a calm, pensive, like artwork and.
Are you serious? You played Dixit where it was a calm, pensive game? People are shouting and screaming at each other the whole time.
What? Dixit? The one
Okay,
with,
I know.
like, weird drawings.
You've played in a game of Dixit with me where people were screaming and shouting the whole time.
Yeah, but I don't know. It doesn't give me the same feeling as Cranium.
Okay, no, that's fair
What
enough.
do you think, Sam?
I'm
He hates Dixit though.
yeah, I don't
Oh,
like
you do?
this.
Okay,
So.
then whatever you say is invalid.
All right. So Cranium.
Z is the best gamer in this room right now.
Lies!
Totally
Oh,
invalid.
he got me. Oh, I get it. He got me.
Number 7.
Our next game is Scrabble.
Wanted to punch you for including this game in this list.
Okay, but I understand. But the thing is, Scrabble really is popular.
I didn't, but I wanted to.
Scrabble
Still
really.
time, folks. Don't go away.
Scrabble is a very popular game with many people. It's one of the games that's just in our popular lexicon. When people say Scrabble, everyone knows what we're talking about.
Right.
And it's a game that there's obviously championships for, but it's a game that not everyone enjoys because if you play with someone who has a bigger vocabulary or who has at least memorized the Scrabble dictionary of 2-letter words,
And that's fun. I want to play with that guy because you're probably a really cool person to hang out with.
so what games replace Scrabble?
I think you're first there, buddy.
Good games. No. This was a tough one for me too because
Anything.
I'm not a word game player. It's
Anything.
anything. It's 2 sticks and a rock.
Cranium.
no, I had a-
sorry.
I had a hard time with this one too, and I had to hark back to like word games I've played before. It's just not my style.
Right.
So I went with this card game that I played a long time ago, and I remember liking it quite a bit actually. It's a simple card game
That you're
called
making
Typo.
right now.
Light shower. Light shower, the card game. Typo is very simple. You have a hand of cards with letters, and there's letters on the table, and everybody picks a letter simultaneously. Then you reveal it and start from the beginning of the alphabet, going to the end of the alphabet. You add the letter to one of the 4 beginnings or endings of words that are forming on the table. You add it to the front or to the back, and you say a word that starts with that or ends with that. And it keeps growing, so the word pool starts to diminish. If when your letter comes up, you cannot add it, cannot think of something, then you take a row and you leave the card that you would have played. And you're trying to get rid of your cards. It's a simple game, but it's really neat, and you don't need, it does away with that idea of you need every letter. You just have to have a really good vocabulary to do well. But you can just say the beginning of the word can just be there, and you make up the rest. So you can sort of play around with it. It's a neat card game. I really like it. And if you like word games, especially, check it out. Typo is my replacement for Scrabble.
My replacement for Scrabble is a much simpler version, a much simpler game actually, and that's Word on the Street from Out of the Box Games. For a couple reasons. One, people are on teams. And so, the super smart guy, maybe you can pair him with the doofus, and you play against them. But 2, you can use any word and any letters. You're just trying to be the most economical in your letters. You have these letters in the middle of the board, and you're essentially having a tug of war. So name a food, and you say spaghetti. You move the S one to your side, the P one, the G one, the T. It moves twice, and you're trying to pull letters. Once they get to your side, you've captured them. So it gives you a chance to try to think of cool words that fit the category, but it's not nearly as brain-burning and as family-destroying as Scrabble can be.
Agreed. That's a good one. I thought
Oh, he said a good thing about one of my games.
that would have been my second choice for this one.
All right.
That's good. The obvious one, I guess, would be Words with Friends. It's not my pick.
I think I think the obvious one is Upwards, probably.
That's actually one of the ones I picked.
Well, what is your wait? What is your answer?
Upwards is not my answer, no. And Words with Friends is not my answer, but those are obvious ones.
Yeah.
Upwards, Words with Friends. I had one that probably would be the go-to, but then I had one that I thought of almost as a fringe. That I thought that
French. Why are you
fringe? Fringe.
The French fringe.
Got it. I'll see.
Fringe.
Got it.
Anyway, so my one that is go-to is vocabulary. Talked about it before, where you roll the dice and come up with a letter. Come up with a word and a definition for the word and all that kind of stuff. I thought that was pretty cool.
Okay.
But I think the one that I came up with is.
Well, that wasn't it, man.
No, but it is. I'm squeaking like 4 in here, but that's
What is the answer?
my answer that I'm going with.
Come on.
My is and wait for it. It's wasabi, and the reason is because it has some of the very same mechanics. It just has a different theme on it. You can think. Come on now, don't shake your head just yet. You have your ingredients. You have your ingredients. Yeah, wait. You have your ingredients, and you can use the
letters
people's.
if you would.
Sure, and then you can use other people's ingredients that they've already placed on the board, and you can add to them. You can start your own. You can do whatever. So it's a stretch, I know, but I think that aspect almost mirrors Scrabble. And at the same time, you have your ingredients and your menu. That acts as your board of letters that you have to work with. So it's a stretch. I understand. But I think if somebody enjoys the mechanics of Scrabble,
Right.
I think they'll also enjoy the mechanics of
I
Wasabi.
just don't think anybody plays Scrabble because they enjoy the mechanics of Scrabble. They're like, ooh, laying tiles is where it's at.
Well, I understand
They like
that.
words. I mean, they enjoy the word.
When I reviewed Wasabi, I did say this is Scrabble with pictures. I remember saying that.
I didn't watch that review.
Sam based it off your review. Now you have to have it back. Sucker.
Okay, no, that's a stretch, but I can see it. However, I would agree with Z. I think that the people want to do words. That was the point of me putting it on the list.
Yeah, but really, I mean, when you come up with all those little 2-3 letter only Scrabble dictionary word, that's not. Sorry, no.
All right, well, that's the end of Scrabble. What game will we demolish next?
Number 6.
Okay, the next game, or is a group of games, this is a deck of cards. Hearts, poker, people carry that deck of cards around. Different families play different things with this deck of cards. Poker is very big on ESPN2. Well, how's that funny? It's true.
I don't know. It was just funny to me.
Okay, well, anyway, there's a lot of things. So this one was tough for me, not because I couldn't think of a lot of games to take the place of this, but it was hard for me to find one that was in print. There's a lot of games, trick-taking games go out of print really quickly. There's a lot of good ones, but there's not many in print right now. I almost put the perennial Teach You on the list because it's available, and it's not technically trick-taking, but it's called ladder climbing, where you're playing cards and essentially trying to get rid of the cards from your hand. And it's a very good game, if overrated by many people. But I mean, it's quite good. But I'm going to go with a simpler one. Let me say this. I'll say Teach You if you're very serious about your card playing. Serious. Teach You is a great game because when I watch people playing it, they're taking it very seriously. But if you're not so serious, like me, when I play Hearts, I play very casually, then I would pick the Dwarf King. That's in print right now. It has 3 suits instead of 4 and has a few funny special abilities that might happen. It's a little bit more mechanic and silly than many trick-taking games, but it's very easy to play and easy to get into. So the Dwarf King.
Okay. I had 2 picks for this one because you had Hearts and Poker, which are 2 different.
Yeah, I'm a little confused. Also, you're making it sound like you meant trick-taking games.
Well, no, that's where I went with it.
Okay.
I just said a deck of cards, but those are the 2 most popular games, probably Hearts and Poker.
Probably.
Maybe Bridge, but we're not talking to the 70-plus female audience currently.
Interesting. I didn't even know we had that audience.
It's a big demographic, sir.
Well, if you like poker, I went with Dice Town because it has you're rolling the dice to have those sets of, and so that there's an obvious connection there. I thought it was a slam dunk. So Dice Town, I think, would draw in poker players.
Cool.
For Hearts, set collection, that type of thing. Again, it's kind of a stretch, but I went with Ticket to Ride. Because it had the same set collection idea that you're looking for.
With like rummy.
Yeah, that's closer to rummy.
Yeah, I understand that, but still, what do you use to play?
I'm not arguing
Deck
that.
of cards.
Deck of cards.
Yeah. So, and that was part of
not
the thing.
wrong.
So anyway, that's what I went with. If you're big on the set collection, Hearts, rummy, that type of stuff, I would say you'll probably also enjoy Ticket to Ride.
All right.
Cool.
What about you?
Okay.
You have 2 different ones too?
No, I just have the one. It's basically a card game, and you could probably even, if you found a way to do it, play with a regular deck of cards. And this is a game that just got reprinted not too long ago from Z-Man Games. Parade.
Okay, yeah, Parade's good.
It's a little Japanese card game where you manage your hand of cards and try to score the best. But you have to be careful because every card you have to take counts against you. But if you have the most of a suit, they hurt you drastically less. So if you're getting a bunch of points, then you want to get a bunch of those and reduce that score. If you have the most, you don't score them, or score them barely. So that was my choice. It's a simple... I think if you enjoy playing cards, Parade is a game that would be an easy sell.
Yeah.
That's my choice.
There we go. We obliterated a deck of cards. Probably not. But anyway, here's some alternatives anyway.
Number 5.
Hey, remember those people Z were talking about who are fun to play Scrabble against? They're also exist in this next game.
Those freaky
It's
people
the
that I was
same
talking
people.
about.
It's Trivial Pursuit. The folks who like the fact that they know more trivial knowledge than you. But Trivial Pursuit is also, in my opinion, marred by the fact that even if you know more than the other person, if you answer questions when you're not on a puzzle piece, you're essentially wasting time.
Yep.
That's fun.
Well, no, you can answer like 10 in a row correctly, land on the puzzle piece, get that one wrong,
That one, yes.
and then if the other person lands on the puzzle piece and gets one right, they...
Perfect.
So anyway, what games are better than Trivial Pursuit? Sir, would you like me to reset this one?
No. I'm good. Just don't want any more notifications from sports in. Okay, 4, Trivial Pursuit. One that came right to my mind was Wits and Wagers, and I stuck with it because it has the trivial aspect where you're answering questions, but unless you're some of those freaky people that I was talking about earlier, there's no way that you're going to come up with the exact answer.
But then you can just bet on those people, so it doesn't matter.
Right, even if you're playing with those people, you can bet on them.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it levels the playing field, again, like I was talking about earlier, to where the people that you're playing with, even though they are smart and they do know, they can't run away with the game.
Right.
With their knowledge. Everybody else still has a level foot. So we just played this at youth group tonight, and had a great time. And one of the guys actually did complete random guess, but nailed the answer right to exactly. And they bet everything. They got
On that answer?
on that answer, and they got it was some 240. They bet everything
He got
they had.
played. He looked
I
at
mean,
that card.
it
He
was
got played.
great.
Oh,
No,
he cheated. Ah.
it could be, but it was amazing. It was a great time. Everybody had a great time. So, and the good thing about Wits and Wagers is that it takes so many people.
Yeah.
and it handles them well.
Yeah.
So you can play this with a really
Think of-
big group of people.
The best thing about Wits and Wagers over Trivial Pursuit is that it's not a yes or no. Like you either know it or you don't know.
Yeah.
It, which is the thing I was talking
It's-
about.
it's just
it does
guessing.
away with that. It's like I have no clue. It's
Yeah.
like a stab at it.
Yeah, exactly.
And the reason I'm saying all that is because it's also my choice.
Give it, yeah.
Trivial Pursuit out. Wits and Wagers in.
Yep.
And for the first time ever, all three of us have agreed.
That's right.
Wits and Wagers was also my choice.
Fist bumps.
Woo-hoo! We can be form Voltron now.
He killed it.
Okay, shut up. All right, so anyway, that's Trivial Pursuit. Boom! By one game.
Number 4.
Our next game is very popular. In fact, a movie was made about this game, Clue. And most people, what they know about Clue is just the ending of it. It was Professor Plum in the kitchen with the wrench, the different things that people say. A deduction game. What game is better than Clue?
I have 3 of them.
He's been cheating all night.
I don't care. Okay, my one that I would definitely pick would be Fury of Dracula. It's my favorite deduction game, period. Underneath that, Letters from Whitechapel. Underneath that, Scotland Yard.
Huh. It's okay. So it's basically almost the same game 3 times
Yeah.
there. Okay.
Here's the deal. I like those games, all 3 of them. I just think that people who play Clue are not looking for definitely Fury of Dracula is a big jump. It's a very thematic with combat in it. I just don't see people who like Clue going for that game.
Which is why I also included Letters from Whitechapel and Scotland Yard.
Yeah.
That's my only beef with that answer is that it's a deduction game to everybody but one person. Like,
Sure. It's more like hide and seek.
Oh no! It's not a deduction game just for one person.
There's definitely like eliminating possibilities and all that, but
it's still a deduction game. It's just that one person is the one the engine behind the deduction.
well, think about it. If you're playing Clue and you're the one that like I give you the 3 cards and that's what you do, you know what they are and sit there. You're not playing a deduction game. The rest of us are playing a deduction game. That's basically what you're saying. It's
I understand that it's not a whodunit.
Some deduction for everybody but one person.
It's not a whodunit. You know who did it, and you may even know how they did it. But I think it's still a deduction game.
Yeah, but where?
Everywhere.
Okay. Well, anyhow, I went with a more straightforward answer. I actually thought I wasn't going to be able to pick it because I thought it wasn't in print, but you can still buy it at Cool Stuff. No. Mystery of the Abbey.
Ah, okay.
Because that's pretty much Clue with a lot of changes. The Mystery of the Abbey, you were trying to figure out which one of, I think there's 18 different monks have killed somebody else. And it's a huge, gorgeous game, very thematic, and you're just trying to figure out one thing, which monk. But you do it by asking questions to other people, by using deductive reasoning. Yeah, I almost feel confident. This is one of the few things I'm 100% on. If you like Clue, you will like Mystery of the Abbey. I really feel that strongly about it.
Yeah, unless you're bothered by the randomness, it does bring in a lot of chaos. It's a Faduti game, so
it does, but it takes out the die rolling of Clue.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're right.
All right, well, what's yours?
Okay, mine is a game I really like actually, and it's instead of solving one big mystery, it's almost like deducing a lot of little ones. And it's a game called Timbuktu, in which you are crossing the desert. And you have to watch the other players and predict where you think robbers will show up and avoid that spot. And the robbers go after specific items in specific places. And there's that deduction of, okay, he avoided that because that camel is carrying silk. I'm not going to put my camel there. Or I am going to put it there because I'm carrying the silk. I have the silk card. I know he's not holding it. So it's got that aspect of I have hidden cards and I know some information. And everybody knows a little bit of that information. But it happens a few times throughout the game. So if you mess up and really do badly and your camel gets they take half the stuff, then that's okay because now A, that camel has fewer things to lose, you're safer, and B, you keep doing that. You do that a few times. So it's like little mysteries.
I really thought you were going to have my back on this one.
What do you mean?
Mystery of the Abbey.
I thought about it, but I don't know. I like Timbuktu better. It's a more pure deduction game. So that's my choice to replace Clue, Timbuktu.
See you later, Clue. Or if you live in Great Britain, Cluedo, or however they say it.
Number 3.
All right, the big daddy of all the games, probably chess. The one game people like to tout when they want to talk about how cool they are. Yeah, well, do people say chess when they're trying to be cool?
No.
In a nerdy way.
Back in my day, we used to play chess all the way to school, uphill both.
But really, there's a lot of chess clubs in schools. Chess is played on a very national tournament level and still being played today. I don't enjoy chess as much as some people. I mean, I think it's a fine game. I just have a problem because when I play someone in chess, they're going to beat me if they play it even remotely good.
I have a sneaking suspicion here. I'm going to predict we're going to pick the same thing, you and I.
Okay. Well, I don't know because there was a lot of cool abstract strategy games, but I went with the newest one that I thought really brought to life chess, but added just a little bit of randomosity to it, and that's the Duke, which is where you pull a tile from a bag, and you have the same tiles as your opponents, and you put the tile on the board, and the tile shows you exactly how it moves. And they have all kinds of cool chess-type moves. You can move diagonally, do this. But after your piece does the move, you flip it over, and it has a different set of moves on the back. It sounds super random, but when you play it, it's very strategic. And for me, I'd play this any day over chess, so that's my replacement, the Duke.
The Duke.
All right.
Yeah.
Called it.
Woo!
As soon as you said it, I knew he was going to say it.
Everything he just said, absolutely it. It's like chess with more flavor, and it's like if you could take all the pieces from chess and give them cool powers and variable strengths, and they go back and forth between what they couldn't do one turn and when you move them, what they can do now.
But you're making it sound. I mean, it sounds super complicated. But since you only have a few pieces on the board,
No, it's a straightforward game.
It's very straightforward.
I remember the first time I played with you, and like 3 turns in, I was already like, man, it's heady, but it's thematic too. It makes the pieces come to life a little bit. So absolutely, The Duke, check it out.
I'm surprised you didn't even. Did you think about Hive?
I did. It would have been my number 2.
That was on the.
I hate
one
Hive,
of the 3.
so
That was one of the 3 that I thought would be a good. Hive, Ricochet Robots, I thought would be a good try because that's a spatial movement game to where if you can
the
see,
same people would like it.
if you can
I don't
see,
know. It's a speed game though.
if you can see, but it's being able to see the moves,
Yeah.
the optimal number of moves, the quickest, and if a good chess player will be able to do that well. I can't do that well.
Right.
But a good chess player will be able to
I
do
think you
that.
keep sneaking in like 6 picks on your turns.
Yeah, I know. And then I thought on a lighter side, hey, that's my fish. Because that's the same kind of...
Wait, which one's your real one?
My real one, I would say Hive. Because I enjoy Hive out of all those 3 better. But I think any 3 would be actually a good pick.
Yeah, that's a good one.
All right, chess. You're dead.
I wouldn't go that far.
Number 2.
I remember the first time I played Risk. I thought I was cool because I was playing a game no one else had played. No, I really did. It's like, there's this game that it's about war. And then I realized that everybody
believes
played Risk. Lots of people played Risk. But Risk is certainly a game of having troops march across the board. Sometimes today we call these dudes on a map game. There's just a bunch of plastic guys and you're fighting a bunch of other plastic guys. So are there better games than Risk? Well, I would argue that if we made a list of games in this category, Risk might be the lowest. I mean, if I listed the 50 to 100 games in this category, Risk would be the lowest one.
You mean it's the worst?
I would say any of the game in this category is better than Risk. I'm trying to think of one I like less than Risk. I can't think of any. Well, let's find out. What do you think?
Well, the obvious choice, which was the first that came to mind, and this is not my choice, was Risk Legacy. It's
Same thing.
It's a Risk.
It sells itself, right? But yeah, it was too much of the same thing. So I went with Shogun. Wallenstein Shogun. I like Shogun.
Oh, that Shogun.
Yeah, that Shogun.
Because there's the Samurai Sword Shogun.
No, not that one. The Dirk Hen design Shogun.
Okay.
So you like Shogun better than Wallenstein?
I do. I like it. I just like the... I like the...
I'm telling you, Wallenstein is a better
I
map.
like the theme better. I like the art better. It's just a better, cooler game.
Just give it. Yeah.
Give it nothing. No.
Right in
Edit that out.
Right in your face, too.
It has the same ideas of controlling territory. It does it in a cool way with a tower of cubes. And on top of that, resource management, keeping the villagers happy, and they might revolt, and all this other stuff. A little programming. It's like Risk Plus. And it doesn't have the cool little plastic dudes like you were saying that Risk has, because you need to throw them down the tower. But I think it gives you the same idea of marching in there and destroying and taking over stuff. And so I could see somebody who likes Risk really getting into the game, especially if you want a little more from your Risk game, That's my choice. Shogun.
I would love if yours was the other Shogun, because that would be cool.
No, it wouldn't. And it's not.
That would be cool.
No, it wouldn't be it.
My absolute pick, I almost felt constrained to do this. But,
Oh, that's right. I set them up.
TI3 is
Which
the
one
game.
now?
Twilight Imperium 3.
You've mentioned it before, I think.
Yes, some. But Twilight Imperium 3, I think, takes Risk to the next level. Actually, about 15 levels above Risk, to where it actually is worth my time, and I enjoy playing it now. But others, Dust was a definite.
Dust Tactics or Dust?
No, the Dust, which
I hated that game.
it's almost just like Risk, except it has a couple rules changes, and it has a different theme on it. That's all.
That's one that I would say is worse than Risk.
Really?
I think you might have played. There's 2 versions of the rules.
They're both bad.
No, you play both versions?
Yeah. It's like slower than Risk somehow, too.
And then a couple other things out of the box. War of the Ring, I thought would be a good replacement for Risk. And then Twilight Struggle and Small World would also be.
I'm changing my number one answer to Pandemic. I don't care what the game is.
So.
Well, Sam's going to throw out all these games. One I really closely considered was Nexus Ops. Nexus Ops is a really good thing for us.
I also consider that too.
Well, you considered apparently everything in the database.
No, I absolutely narrowed it down to less than 10.
Games.
Less than 10.
All right. My single game that I would pick for this category is Kemet. I'm real huge on Kemet. I love the fact, you have fewer troops than Risk. You won't get the feeling of throwing chunks of dice. In fact, there's no dice. You use card combat. But you do have huge monsters who come with, and you can play some special cards, and it really gives that same thing without the feeling of, oh, you won because you got lucky.
Right.
In Kemet, when you win, you feel like you kind of outplayed everybody else just a little bit. And so I really enjoy that. It has a cool theme. It's a couple steps up from Risk. Many. But not too difficult to understand. Big thumbs up for me, Kemet.
Cool.
And finally, number one.
Okay, here we go for number one. But before we roll the dice, let's talk about what we're replacing.
Plug your ears.
Monopoly. Of course, how can we not put Monopoly on the list? That's the number one game. When people say, oh, you like board games, you mean like Monopoly. Have you ever heard, usually that's what they say.
Absolutely.
They'll say, like Monopoly. Sometimes they say, like Risk, when they're trying to be cool.
Right, it's typically like Monopoly. And then you say yes and move on.
Yeah, really, we're not here to bag on Monopoly too much.
Right.
Well,
No.
you're not going to bag on? Okay, good. All right, well, what games replace Monopoly? Let's roll to see who goes first. Here comes the thunder! Oh, not for me. See, that's what happens when you roll normally.
That's true.
All right, so who goes first?
I'll let the illustrious blue shirt go first.
All right.
Then Z, and I'll take the coveted last spot.
Okay, now, before I get garbage for this one, I was trying to think of a game like Monopoly.
Encounter. Here we go.
No. I was trying to think of it, because what do people like about Monopoly? They like the buying and selling aspect, the economic aspect, and they also like the trading. You can trade a Monopoly. So I almost put Settlers of Catan.
Okay.
Because the trading aspect is strong, but the economic thing wasn't.
Say almost, right?
I did say almost. Yeah, I'm doing the Healy thing.
Good treat.
No, the game I picked was Airlines Europe. Airlines Europe is an economic game in which you are building plane routes around Europe, trying to get the most money. Now it's hard to put this one in the same box as Monopoly. It really is.
This is basically the same game. I haven't played. This is basically
Union Pacific.
Union Pacific,
Yeah.
because I played that.
It's hard to put it in the same category, but you're trying to outdo other people and get to spots economically. And I cannot explain it on air per se, but it fits the same feel for me. If you said, do you want to play Monopoly? I would say no, but would you like to play Airlines Europe? I just feel like if you like one, you'd like the other. I don't know how else to explain it.
Okay.
It's a
got that
So
gut
if you
feeling.
like Airlines Europe, you should also like Monopoly.
Well, not necessarily.
Following your logic.
No, because it's not always the reverse. No, because you can like one and then you show something better, and then you never want to go back. Like, for example, since I'm going to push your buttons, you may like a McDonald's hamburger, but once you have a real hamburger, you don't want to go back to McDonald's hamburger.
Sure you do.
Well, you do.
Because I don't want to pay $12 for the real hamburger.
You don't got to pay $12.
Okay. Replacing Monopoly for me, a $12 hamburger. You can share it. You can trade pieces of the burger.
Oh.
I'll give you a pickle for 2 onions.
What do you do at your meals?
I don't know. What am I eating? All right. For me, I went with the aspect of the money management, having money, spending money. And that's what I sort of focused on when it came to Monopoly. I think that's sort of where Monopoly, what it's really all about is that idea of, ooh, money, grabbing money, I'm going to spend it. So I went with Alhambra.
Okay.
Alhambra is basically just about that. It's about drafting money, grabbing money, and then buying it in a being smart with your timing about when you buy the tiles that are on offer, so that you have majorities in the tiles and the colors, basically. So it has that aspect which Monopoly does not have. It's it's an area it's sort of an area majority game, also set collection, if you would. But it all revolves around this grabbing money, spending money, being smart with the way you spend it. If you happen to have the exact change you need, you get to go again right away. I don't know. It just, for me, that's the one that always comes to mind, and it's really probably the only one I've thought of before, because again, Monopoly, right? Everybody goes, oh, like Monopoly, and I go, yeah. Here, let me show you something else that's maybe like Monopoly. And Alhambra does it. That's the one that I would have to go with.
Well, what this makes me think is the fact that, as popular as Monopoly is, there really isn't a game that does all the same stuff. That has the... Oh, you're going to give us the answer?
The Doom that came to Atlantic City. That is Monopoly with a Cthulhu theme wrapped around it.
Okay.
And it's a great game to boot.
Okay, but what I mean is, no one is. I'm not saying you have to copy Monopoly. I'm saying something that has a thing where you can charge other people money, where you can, get each other, where you can trade, and there's economic. All that stuff is in that package, right? Mm-hmm. And we haven't seen all that stuff like in a modern game. Maybe it shouldn't be.
Maybe we have, but I can't think of a good game that does it all anyway.
Tell us in the comments. Well, what's your? Maybe Sam has the game.
Well, I didn't.
The 10 games.
No, this is just one.
Oh, okay.
I just have one. I decided not to go with the extreme economical thing that Monopoly carries with it. I don't think that... I think people like Monopoly because they like making people go bankrupt.
Okay.
I think that's what they like doing. And I think it's less about me getting money and more about you losing money.
Okay.
So... I tried to stay away from that because I didn't think that was really what hindered. I think people like the simplicity of the roll and move. I think people like the simplicity of the set collection. I think people like the trading aspect of it. I think people like the auctioning.
All right, tell us the name of the game already.
Colosseum has all of those mechanics in it, and it's a game that I think really fits the bill. It doesn't have the economic theme. I understand that. Doesn't have the economic part of it, but it's got set collection, it's got auctioning, it's got trading, it's got roll and move. I think it completely fits, and it's an awesome game.
I agree with that statement.
That's interesting.
It has all of those mechanics in it.
I'm thinking it. I'm mulling it.
Okay.
Let me.
The beard helps. Yes.
All right. Well, anyway.
No, that's a good choice. That's an interesting choice, but it's very valid.
For those of you watching this video who love Monopoly, there really is thousands of games that are really cool, that if you like Monopoly, they take different aspects of that and really let them shine.
I've heard people say that if you don't like Monopoly, you're playing it wrong. I wanted to punch them in the nose.
Story time with Sam Healy.
And that's it for this time. Hopefully this gives you some good ideas of games that you can try out, that you can play instead of these. Or if you're watching our videos and you already know all this sort of thing, maybe these are games you can suggest to your friends. They say, oh, I like Scrabble. Oh, here's a game you can play instead. And hopefully this will help you out in that regard. And maybe you completely disagree with our choices, which we're right.
Well, I think we went at it from... I think we have three different perspectives. We all had different
wits and wagers.
But we all had different avenues to come at it. So if you like those different aspects of these games, then that's the one you should try.
Well, why don't you guys do that? In the comments below, list the 10 games and then list the game that you think you would replace each one with. And that gives people even more options to take a look at. And then they can pick and thumb up the ones that you think are great. And then maybe someone will rise to the top and we'll have to invite them on the show to do a top 10.
I'm out. Or not, guys.
Oh, sorry. I forgot to tell you about the auditions. They're next week.
Wow.
All right. Until next time, I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Z Garcia.
And I'm Sam Healy.
And you've been watching The Dice Tower.
See you, folks.
Excellent.